Some say weekends are where the action lives, but Mondays are where the stories are told. Good morning and welcome to the show. Your front row seat to everything that went down across in the world of sport, from the passion and intensity of Nigeria Premier Football League match day 31 delivered crucial results from home side across the country to the track where Toby Amusan opened a 2026 campaign in an impressive fashion, finishing strong at the Velocity Fest in Jamaica. We also head to England when Nico Riley stole the spotlight, firing Manchester City to Carabao Cup glory over Arsenal. And in Spain, it was derby drama as Vinicius Jr. delivered a match-winning performance for Real Madrid against Atletico Madrid. Tennis gave us shocks and statements at the Miami Open, while in NBA, big names showed up when it mattered. This is where we break down all that matters, connect the dots, and give you the real stories behind the headlines. I am Abe Paul Toluwanimi, and this wonderful morning, I have, should I call them the three wise men? I have Sanuruddin Alimi in the studio with me this wonderful morning. Abiola is back, all the way from Abuja. It's good to have you back on the show. And also Mabuba, the woman that likes to talk sports. She was all over the news last week with the story around Morocco and Senegal. And trust me, Nuruddin was expecting her on the show because he was ready to fire back. He said, Toluwanimi, I really needed her to be on the show, last week. But she's back, and definitely we'll be talking sport on the go. Let me greet you, top of the morning to you. How are you feeling?
I'm doing quite all right. Thank you very much, Toluwanimi. It's great to be here once more.
Amazing. Abiola, it's good to have you back on the show.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm back on the block. Thank you.
So, Nuruddin, I'm sure you're still on my side to say Arsenal are not going to live off the Premier League title. That's difficult to say. That's difficult to be on the side right now.
They've tried and still don't look like they can give up that consistency to chase them up until the end. But it's still Arsenal, like I would mention. Anything can happen. And it was just interesting over the weekend. You gave us a rundown of what happened. And I told them on Friday not to miss anything. And I hope they didn't miss that because we'll be here to dissect that. And for me, you welcome us to the show today. I'd like to ask you what were your highlights and your low points from the weekend.
Honestly, for me, like you said, Remo Stars for me was the highlight for me of the day because I said we're going to pick up the victory and also escape relegation. And I said Manchester City also are going to lift up, the Carabao Trophy, which they did. So that's one to look forward to. That's my highlight of the weekend. Let me ask you, what's your highlight of the weekend?
Well, the highlight of my weekend, as I mentioned, it's the match between the Remo Stars played and they won.
Okay, are you on my side?
I am.
You're on my side now. So are you saying Remo Stars?
I'm not saying that Remo Stars are going to escape relegation.
So you're saying not on my side?
I'm not on your side, unfortunately.
That recruitment is not going to work. I tried to snatch her back from the good side, but it's not going to happen.
It's fine. Let me ask you, what's the highlight of your weekend?
Yeah, the Spanish derby. Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's get straight into action from the local front. Let's look at the match day 31 result from the Npfl games. A good game to look at. Like I said in the intro, home teams were able to pick up all 3 points and some also were able to pick up 1 point from their home front. There you have it on the screen. If you have Wiki Tourist that played on Saturday to bat out, the game ended goalless. Remo Stars against Kwara United, the game ended 3-1. We have Katsina United, the face Shooting Stars. Katsina picked up the victory 1-0. We have Kano Pillars, fantastic goal from Ahmed Musa. Rabiu Ali getting 2 assists in that game against Eyimba. Also, let me inform you that Warri Wolves played to Kennedy Poboye's side. Benden Insurance game ended goalless. Kun Khalifa against Ikorodu City. A big game that happened on the weekend. On Sunday, the game ended 2-2. Let me inform you that Plateau United picked up the victory against Bayelsa United 1-0. And Fidelis Ilechukwu's side, Rangers International, picked up the victory against El Kanemi Warriors 2-2. Let me inform you that Abia Warriors are going to play today to Niger Tornadoes and Nasarawa United to Rivers United. Let me start off with where you left off, saying Remo Stars picked up the victory against Kwara United, and that's one game you excited to see. Talk to me about the game.
Okay, so the thing is that we know that Remo Stars, they're the defending champions, and currently it seems that they are about to be relegated. And one thing I noted is that, as I mentioned earlier, they do not have an away game. They do not have an advantage in terms of playing away from home. But one thing I've noticed over time is that whenever they are playing at home, or when they are not playing where the opponent's fans are, there's so much intensity among the fans, they tend to win. But at the same time, I really do not think that this result, this winning and not winning when they're away from home, is going to put them in a good position in the fight. Yes, in the fight against relegation. So I really think that the odds are very much against them. And as I mentioned, it's something I've noticed among other teams as well. Whenever these teams, some NPFL teams play away from home, there is always them losing. But whenever it comes to them playing at home, they win. But for a team like Remo Stars that is trying to fight against relegation, I really do not think that this on and off performance puts them in the right position.
Abiola, you know, are you going to agree to that, saying, you know, the on and off performance would not, you know, help steady the ship for Remo Stars if, you know, they are to fight away from relegation?
Yeah, exactly. I support our opinion because it seems like when they are on the trot, when they are away, they slow down their momentum. But when they are at home, they put on their best. And so if this up and down, I don't think it will help them because it's just like 5, maximum 6 games to the end of the season. So if they don't give themselves the extra push, I don't see them not beating the drop.
Okay.
They were lucky in that game. Kwara United went ahead, got a penalty to even go ahead again, and lost the penalty. That was the point for me. Kwara United lost it. But at the end of the day, it was an interesting game. We saw goals everywhere. And
Victor Mbahoma back on the score sheet.
On the score sheet. It's been very prolific for Remo Stars. So it's just as expected. A very beautiful football game. But they were very lucky. They were playing against opponents like Kwara United, who are also struggling this season. It was against a different side. It looked like a relegation fight, actually.
Yes,
it was a different side they were playing against. They had the chance to go up ahead after even Remo Stars came level. They had the penalty. They squandered the chance, and it was Remo Stars all the way to the end of the game. But for me, I still stand on it. Remo Stars will not beat the drop at the end of the season.
Beautiful. All right. You know, let's move on to the big game. Also in the weekend, Kano Pillars played to Yimba. Let me start off with you, Sanuruddin. You know, fantastic game for Kano Pillars. Look at where they are. Also a team we're fighting relegation, and they were able to churn out the victory at 2-0. Before the game, you know, I saw videos of Kano Wanko and Ahmed Musa, you know, trying to watch you know, some friendly, you know, five-a-side football, and it was just an atmosphere to look forward to. Our football can bring back legends and unity together, but that you know, did not stop Kano Pillars from picking up the victory on their home turf, 2-0.
Yes, it was a very big game, and both teams are actually struggling at the moment. Kano Pillars are not exactly out of the waters yet for the relegation dogfight, and the Yimba seem to draw themselves back in the mud every time. Yes, you mentioned there was a 5-a-side friendly before the game. Yes, that's what we want to see. Big games like this should attract more and more fanfare and fun attractions that will bring people to the stadium, because most times it's not just the 90 minutes of football that defines the whole day of football. So if you have things like that will bring people together, will generate revenue, and even attract players to say, okay, some people have been hearing the name Kanu Wako, and what a chance to see him at that tournament, or what a chance to see him to get his autograph or something. So it was good for the fans and good for the culture in general. And by going to the game, very good win for Kano Pillars. Musa scored a very beautiful one. That's what you want to see from your star man or the man that wants to take your team to the next level. So it was a beautiful game at the end of the day, and that's what we want to see. Kano Pillars have the 3 points in their bag. Yimba need to go back to the drawing board. It's troubling times for them right now, and I think they will be my candidates to join. No, I tell you,
you said you needed a candidate.
A candidate to join
the
confirmed 3.
So
I
think
Yimba, but I'm not yet settled on that yet. But if they keep up their missile performances, I think they will join them at the end of the season.
Let me ask Abiola, you know, before we move to the next game to talk about, you know, Katsina and Shooting Stars. For you, Yimba United, I'm also going to talk to you about Yimba quickly. Yimba United this season has not shown, you know, the status of, you know, one of the top teams when it comes to Npfl, and it looks like relegation is looming for them. Do you see them, you know, go through that patch? And also, you look at the management system around the Yimba. I saw, you know, a report last week saying that a player, you know, requested for, you know, money for ACL injury, and the management, you know, Kanu Wanko was still the chairman, saying that we're going to pay you, but we're going to deduct it from your salary, taking it, you know, it's going to be like a loan for you. So on and off the pitch is not working for Yimba Football Club. Abiola.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Yimba, that used to be the shining light for Nigerian teams in the continent, they are struggling. And if you really look into their situation, they have a lot of financial issues now. And I think there was a time there was a probe that was going to go on. I think they stepped it down because there's allegations that the Kano Wako-led management mismanaged some funds. And it's unfortunate that for your player that is injured on duty, and you now want to deduct the cost of medical bill from his wages. It's really unfortunate. And it shows that Yimba is on the downward decline, and I just hope something can be done drastically to arrest the situation.
For you, on and off the pitch, not still working, what needs to work for them to escape relegation?
So, The match between Kano Pillars and Eyimba were not particularly in their best of form. And based on the recent result that Eyimba have been having in the past, in a couple of games, they've lost two matches. They drew like 2 and also won just 1. And this is not, as you mentioned, Eyimba used to be one of the top teams in the Npfl. But one thing I know over time regarding the trajectory of teams across several leagues is the fact that great dynasties do not live on forever. There'll definitely come a time, whether they try to avoid it or not, that certain things will not work in their favor. And I think for Eyimba, we're actually witnessing that moment. Regarding things not working for the team financially off the field of play, I really think that it is an issue that a lot of Npfl teams are when it comes to finances. And regarding the player that is currently going to an injury crisis, okay, the thing is that I really think it boils down to the contract that is signed between the team and the player. And one thing I notice about Npfl is that it's not all the time that clubs and players tend to have contracts. Because if there is a contract binding the player and the team, then I really think that if that exists, there will be a solid ground for a lawsuit. But with that not in place, but based on the way I'm viewing, I really do not think that there is a contract behind both the club and the player together. Because if there is, the decision that the club took to pay the player for the ACL injury and still collecting the money, despite the fact that he suffered the injury while playing for them, it is a solid ground for a lawsuit. But unfortunately, it is something we witness oftentimes in the Npfl.
All right. Come on. Sanuruddin, it looks like we're going to go to the court soon. But before we go to the court, let's talk about Castle United. Let's talk about Castle United actually, because I know very soon we're going to come back to the case where I'm going to have you and Mabuba discuss about the situation or surrounding CAF. But let's just move swiftly. Castle United against Shooting Stars. You said on Friday that this is not a game that you see Shooting Stars winning, but a game they need to win to put them and propel them. One for the vision they set for themselves this season, saying that the continental ticket is one they are vying for this season, and also maybe propel them to a fight for the NPFL. But that did not happen. The game ended 1-0 in favor of the home team.
Yes, Katsina United looked like they wanted him more, and they pushed and up until the end. They got 1 goal late in the game that sealed the 3 points for them. For Shooting Stars, another disappointing move for them away from home. We're asking Lyrical about their performances in their home games against Rivers United and against what's his name? Yeah. I've forgotten the second team they play right now, but they got 6 points. But the problem has always been away for Nuridan and his boys. And on Sunday again, it proved difficult for them again. And we are saying the same story over and over again. You need to get things right on the road if you want to put yourselves in the right conversation. And I don't think they will still get enough points that will propel them. Because right now, Ikorodu City, a team they're also vying for continental title or the title together, got a draw away from home. A draw would have been enough. At least you won a point, but they didn't get that. That's why United play Rivers today. That's a top of the table clash. That's going to affect their ambitions as well. And Rivers Rangers International won again, so the point gap is opening up again, and they are playing Rangers International next. A very tough fixture at home. Yes, they might manage to get the victory from there, but for me, Shooting Stars need to find their balance. Even if it's just a draw away from home, you should try and at least get it just to keep up the points and make up the numbers that will be enough to meet their targets. Right now, there are 3 or 4 points adrift the positions that will get them into the CAF Confederations Cup or the CAF Champions League. So they still have 6 or 7 games to go to prosecute there to try and hit the target, but it's looking very slim and tougher as the day goes by.
I'm going to pick up from where Mabuba left off earlier on the show, saying, away teams. I mean, if a team is going away from home, this season in the NPFL, they're not throwing out results. I think one team that was particular about doing that was Ikorodu City. We saw the consistency from Ikorodu City, but later on the stage of football, when it comes to the NPFL, they began to decline. But let me ask you, quickly, Abiola, away teams, why they're not churning out results when they go, to play away football? Most especially, you see a team like Shooting Stars, you look at the record, I'm sure Mabuba's trying to help me get that quickly. They're not churning out the result away from home. For you, what could be the reason why we are not seeing teams, pick up victory away from home?
Yeah, it's unfortunate for away teams that they are dropping points on the road, and for Shooting Stars, it's a peculiar problem. I think they've lost their X factor. You realize that in the last few years they raised our hopes, being our darling team, and just the last few games of the season they begin to drop points, and it's unfortunate. They have a new chairman doing all his best, giving them new players with all the support. In fact, at a point they had to go by flight and all that. But I don't know what's really happening. Previously, we have given them excuses. Maybe it's fatigue because they've had issues on the road. Robbers have attacked them. Vehicles break down. But now that things are a lot better, new management in place, we expect them to deliver the goods. But it's still the same old story. And I think their case is also peculiar with other teams. There's this laxity when you're not demanding for the points enough. So there's nothing that can happen if you don't demand for the points. You don't go all out for the points. You're not going to get it.
Get victory. You want to say something quickly?
I'm always shocked because a team that plays well in front of their fans just suddenly turn back. I don't know the voodoo or the catastrophe or the formula that attracts that.
I think Mabuba has the formula. What's the formula? Because I know you helping me check out the stats away from home for shooting stats. For you, you look at the away from, it's not working for them. And I just gave you the honors now. Say you have the formula. What's the formula for picking up victory away from home?
Apparently, Shooting Stars have lost all the games they played away from home this year.
Beautiful.
They've lost every single one of them. And as you mentioned, it's a peculiar thing when it comes to Shooting Stars always losing away from home. And for a team that is fighting desperately for continental tickets, this inconsistent performance that we see, whereby they play very well on home soil, and then when they go away, they display a shambolic performance. It doesn't put them in a right position. It doesn't help their quest for continental tickets. And the same thing we see from Shooting Stars and a couple of other teams in the Npfl, like Remo Stars, for instance, even Abia Warriors. These teams don't have good games when it comes to playing away from home. And one excuse that I want to give these teams, maybe they are getting closer to that particular point of the season whereby things are getting heated up, and then the fan support plays a pivotal role in the teams that the team in the result that the teams get when they play on home soil. But away from home, they don't get that support from the fans. Perhaps that is like a psychological disadvantage that these teams are witnessing when they play away from home soil.
All right, come on. We're talking about the X factor. Nurudina's taking me to maths class, talking about formula. So maybe it's time to talk about Bodma. So let's look at Abia Warriors when they take on Niger Tornadoes and Nasarawa United against Rivers United. Abiola, let me start off with you quickly because of our time. Nasarawa United against Rivers United. How do you see both teams set up? And you look at the form for Rivers United, really, really, really shambolic performance, especially a team where you think, their rescheduled game would give them a point and also sit them, at top of the table, but it's not working for them. For you, Nasarawa United against Rivers United.
It's going to be a tough one for Rivers United. I don't know what's wrong with Finidi George. I don't know what's wrong. Maybe he's lost his mojo, and there's this the game management. They have not been able to manage games and see out results. It's going to be a difficult one. The best they can get is a draw on the road.
Draw on the road.
A road.
I don't want to hear that. That best is not besting enough for me. This is the fourth away game they are going on. They don't seem to have picked any points in the last three. This is the last chance for them to get at least just a point. Going to be very difficult because Nasarawa United are also eyeing a continental ticket, even if they can't get the title. They were at some point the league leaders. They led the league for about 2 or 3 weeks before they were toppled by Ikorodu City and Rangers, and now Rivers again. So it's going to be a very tough one. They don't want to go to Nasarawa United. And Nasarawa United don't look like a side that will want to drop points, but it's football. Rivers United can gather the momentum and gather the courage today and get the maximum points. So it's just what I would like to see. At least just one away team to win this weekend, because I still don't understand the contrast of playing in front of your fans. It's the same pitch, it's the same football pitch. Yes, there are some bad playing surfaces, but it's still the same football. There are no differences. 11 players against 11 players. But when you just go away in front of you, is it the tactics that changes? Is it the team not gelling? Or I would like to speak to an expert or
maybe a coach,
a backroom staff of one of the teams, and explain why it's always tough to go. Yes, I know there are different reasons on the table. There are sometimes poor officiating that goes against you, but first, before the officiating goes against you, your performance has to qualify you to be in the position to say, yes, the officiating went against us. If you didn't play well, you don't have any excuse. You have to play well first, then come back to other existential issues at the end of the day.
All right, let's move on quickly. Abia Warriors against Niger Tornadoes quickly. Give me an analysis ahead of that game.
Okay, so Abia Warriors and Niger Tornadoes, they haven't been in good form, both teams. Abia Warriors, I think they've won, I think, 2 of their last previous matches, and they also have this crisis that we're currently talking about them, displaying good performances on home soil, but when they go away from home, they display this not so impressive performance. But then they are also in the battle for continental ticket. They are currently just 1 place behind Shooting Stars, and then we have Niger Tornadoes, who are currently 13th. So if looking at this, Abia Warriors against Niger Tornadoes, I feel that Abia Warriors have a lot more to fight for because they have a lot more on ground, and them not picking up a win against Niger Tornadoes is going to affect their quad because they still have Shooting Stars ahead of them. And these 2 teams, Abia Warriors and Niger Tornadoes, if I look at them, I'll say that Abia Warriors, they really need to put in their very best in this encounter, because if they don't, as I mentioned, it's really going to affect their quest as they have Shooting Stars and Nasarawa United, even Ikorodu City ahead of them. So putting in their very best into this match against Niger Tornadoes is going to give them higher advantage.
All right. We'll be looking forward to the games for today, the match day 31 games in the Npfl. Abia Warriors against Niger Tornadoes still to come, and also Nasarawa United against Rivers United. Let's move swiftly because of our time, and let's take more stories surrounding the world of sports, and this is coming through from the world of athletics. And Enekwechi finishes 11th in shot put. Nigerian shot put star Chukwuebuka Enekwechi delivered a determined performance at the World Indoor Championship, finishing 11th in his men's shot put event. Enekwechi recorded a best throw of 20.04 meters, placing him 11th out of 17 competitors in a highly competitive field. Although the result may fall short of its expectations, the Nigeria's international once again demonstrated resilience and also consistency on the global stage. Continue to elevate the country's profile in shot put event despite missing out on a top finish. His participation and performance remain a testament of his dedication and his role in putting Nigeria firmly on the map when it comes to international athletics. Let me start off with you, Nuruddin, quickly. Yet again, it's still Chukwuebuka Enekwechi on the map.
Yes, it's the only one we have in the short put stories for Nigeria, and good one for him. Yes, he couldn't get the maximum through to go to the next round and put himself further in the competition, but very good one for him, and congratulations for him, because most times these meets are more about the participation than winning the medals, and as long as you show up on the world stage several times, the big break is going to come, and good luck to him in his future endeavors.
All right, quickly for you, Mabuba, something about Chukwuebuka?
Okay, what I can say about him always represents Nigeria, oftentimes, that beside the fact that he's a man who is good at what he does, it also shines a light more on the deficiency that we have when it comes to the sporting system in Nigeria. When it comes to football, many people recognize Nigeria, the Super Eagles and the Super Falcons, and a little bit about basketball. But when we look at other sports besides football, we realize that there isn't a higher level of commitment and investment in these teams. And we are not winning when it comes to football. Neither of our teams, both the men's team and women's team, have won the World Cup. And, even the men's team are struggling when it comes to the AFCON. Them always coming close, but falling short eventually. But for the women, they are good, the women's football team. But I believe that for a team or for a nation to solidify itself when it's at the global stage, sports is one of the ways they can get to do that. But when a particular country is focused squarely on football and a little bit on basketball, it doesn't give them it doesn't put them in a solid position to do that. I can recall previously at the All Africa University game back in 2024, Egypt brought lots of players across several sports, and they ended up winning medals across all the sports. So the more a country invests heavily in sports across diverse sports, it's actually kind of puts them in a positive position. It's given an advantage, so that if we don't win in this one, at least we have a solid chance to win in other one. But in the case of Nigeria, it is quite the opposite. There is so much focus on football, and then we leave other sports to just simply die off. At the same time, we're not winning in football. So basically, we're losing across all ends.
All right, come on. It looks like she wanted. No, honestly. So my thought process was, I wanted to pass the baton to Mabuba now to talk, and she's like, "Oh, come on, Tolwani, you just need to allow me to talk right now." Yeah, she has it, and trust me, that was nailed on. That was nailed on properly, and I think we need to do better when it comes to sport in Nigeria. Not just focus on one sport. I think all-round sport will put us on a global stage. Let's move swiftly because of our time, and let's talk about the Premier League game, Manchester United against Bournemouth, and we talk about consistency when it comes to football, especially refereeing in England, and this did not turn out in favor of Manchester United. The game ended 2-2. Bruno Fernandes getting on the spot kick right there. Also, Maguire with a red card, and also you look at the own goal from Bournemouth. One man also gets in the goal right there. Scroopy doing that yet and yet again. For Bournemouth, it has not been easy for Manchester United and Bournemouth. Let me have the picture of both the fouls so that we can also just talk about it quickly. Quickly because of our time. There you have it on the screen.
It's a common occurrence in European football these days. They don't get the decision right. The decision happens, and that was the reason why VAR was brought into the game, to help aid the referees on-screen or in real-time decision. Because that's the end of the. But most times, these referees, maybe it's ego, maybe it's a lapse in concentration or something. It just affects the quality of the game. And at the end of the day, a team suffers, and they come out with an apology at the end of the day. And we're still talking about officiating last week, that they just come after a team has been punished or suffered for the incompetence of a referee, of a match official during the game. You come out with an apology 2 or 3 days later saying, and it doesn't right the wrongs for what has gone wrong. It doesn't put the 3 point back. Then, after the first goal, Ahmad was adjudged to have been fouled in the box, and Bournemouth went out to score a goal. The foul was waved on, and similar. That was blatant. There was a blatant mistake from the coach, but the VAR didn't deem that fit clear and obvious error to make that a foul, and Bournemouth got the goal. And a similar decision happened when Maguire was adjudged to have tipped the Bournemouth player in the box, and if the first one was the penalty,
this also should not be penalty,
and that's a problem. And for Manchester United, they've not seemed to be able to beat Raiola. This is the 6th time they've not won against him. So it's becoming very difficult. This time around, they should have gotten their win, but VAR and the centre referee had other decisions. It didn't go their way, but they are still third on the log, 1 point ahead of Villa, even though Villa won yesterday. 4 points ahead of Liverpool and Chelsea, and they still all to fight for in the top 4 race today.
All right, let's look at other results quickly from the weekend. Fantastic game. I was talking about Dan Welbeck not being part of the England squad. There you have it. When you talk about the start between Manchester United and Bournemouth, let's just have all the results from the weekend game. I was talking about Dan Welbeck not being part of the squad for the England, and he said, "Come on, I think I should get a call." He got a goal. He got a brace in that game against Liverpool. Leeds United against Brentford. That one ended goalless. You look at the game against Chelsea. Thank you, my producer Welbeck. Getting a brace against Liverpool. Abiola, trouble times for Liverpool and Anslot quickly.
Yes, trouble times for Liverpool and Anslot, and something is not really gelling for Liverpool now. I don't know what's wrong with Anslot. The lineup, I'm not too particularly happy with the way he set up his players, and you are playing a Bournemouth at the Amex Stadium. That stadium is a very difficult stadium to go anyway. It's very difficult to play in that place. You know that the Bournemouth play the traditional English way. They try to load the ball, and you should have been able to predict what they will throw at you, but Slot, the usual Slot, he keeps giving excuses all the time and complaining all the time, and it's unfortunate. And for somebody like Welbeck, the guy keeps rolling back the years. I don't know why Thomas Tuchel didn't call him. I think he deserves a call. Someone like he should have been given a call.
Okay, let's move on quickly. Chelsea, smile from you right now, Everton, doing that, the double on their own turf, fantastic one for Everton. Beto getting on the score sheet, Iliman Jaya also on the score sheet. Chelsea, Liam Rosselló, 4 loss on the bounce, not walking through for Chelsea yet again, quickly.
Chelsea, I would say they're currently going through a crisis.
A tough patch.
They've consisted 14 goals in the last 5 games. And I mentioned previously, after their previous match, that they're currently going through a defensive frailty. As I mentioned, they've conceded more goals more than the matches that they've actually played, 14 goals. And that is one gap that I would say that the coach is not particularly focusing on, because it seems that it doesn't matter the players that the coach needs to put together. The opposing team will definitely find a way to penetrate and definitely score. And I'll say that although people might not be expecting much from this Chelsea team, even though they won the Conference League and the FIFA Club World Cup last season, they weren't expecting too much. But then I'll say that a top 4 should be the least that we get from this. But the way it is progressing with defensive frailties and them not being able to solve this gap that they're currently facing, it doesn't put them in a good position, not to put them in a good light.
All right. Let's talk about relegation battle. Tottenham against Nottingham Forest. Tawa winning you on the score sheet.
It was a very beautiful game. I expected loads of goals, and that was what happened at the end of the day. Tottenham, they got into the game early. They created 1 or 2 chances, but they were not able to put the ball back of the net, and they were punished. He just got the first goal for what's his name? For Nottingham Forest, and when he came on as well for a goal, just got the ball, put the ball back. So it was very beautiful. I would like to see Nottingham go down the drain, but West Ham look like a serious side as well. That is just the only question mark for me. If West Ham can pick up one or two games, but they don't seem to have a good run at the moment as well. So that's not working for either of those teams. They are just 1 point or 2 points ahead of Nottingham Forest. So it's still going to be very tricky. Tottenham couldn't transform their European victory. They got the victory against Atletico Madrid last week, but they couldn't bring that to the weekend to continue the run. So for Igor Tudor and his boys, they are going down the drain right now. I said it. Igor Tudor is not the man to take any team. He's not the man. I don't think. And the formation is employing for me. I still stand on it. It's not going to work in the Premier League.
All right. Because of our time, I'm sure the fans will be expecting us to talk about the big game on Sunday. Nico Riley's second half brace fired Manchester City to a convincing 2-0 victory over a below-par Arsenal in the Carabao Cup final as the Citizens won their 8th straight final in the competition. And, I was about saying maybe I'll be using the word "oh really," because, it sounds like O'Reilly, this kind of thing. But what do I start off with? Let me start off with you, Mabuba, quickly. I think that's going to be our last story because of our time. Manchester City, were you expecting that dominance performance from them against the Arsenal side? When you look at the record, you look at the stats, on Friday we're talking about so much to look forward to for Arsenal, but it didn't just work out for them. What went wrong for Mikel Arteta and what ticked the box for Pep Guardiola?
You see, football is not predictable. I wasn't expecting that level of, intensity from Manchester City. I was expecting that Arsenal might maybe finally prove to Pep Guardiola, or Arteta can prove to Pep Guardiola that he can also win, even though he used to be his apprentice. But unfortunately, that didn't work. And based on the what we can see from the match, it seemed that Arteta, should I say, adopted a defensive strategy, and he didn't seem to actually move forward. He decided to simply park the bus. But apparently, we can see that Manchester City simply came there to win. The results haven't been going much in their favor. They are currently 9 points behind Arsenal, even though they have 1 game in hand. They came to win, and I would say that with this win for Manchester City kind of like just reinstates the idea that they are still a team to fight, even though the result might not be going at their way. Pep Guardiola definitely proved that winning the Carabao Cup is thing. Has now won for this trophy for 5th time now. But Arteta is still yet to win a trophy since the FA Cup in 2020. So I'll say that for Arsenal, this team is not, shall I say, this result itself, it is not a determinant for how the league is going to go. They might still win the league. But for Manchester City, I'll say that this is more or less their stronger chance at winning the trophy this season. Okay. For UCL, they're out. For Premier League, Arsenal as the upper end. And then for the FA Cup, they're out already. Right.
Oh, come on. Abiola, I'm just going to ask you quickly. Arsenal fans will tell you the Carabao Trophy is not what we are looking forward to. It's going to be the, the Premier League.
One man told me this morning he didn't want Pep Guardiola to go without a trophy. That was why
that's why they gave it to
Abiola. I don't agree. And if you look at the match, you realize that Arteta made a very fundamental mistake. I don't know why he had to bring in Kepa. Kepa has not kept for quite a while. I think the guy was rusty. That was why he made that silly mistake that led to the first goal. And as we all observed the match, just as Maba said, Arsenal were playing low. They did not really, it was not the Arsenal that we used to know. They were trying to hold on and see how they can stretch City. But Pep being who he is, and it's like the apprentice and the Oga. And so Pep was able to get that one over, and you could see the way he celebrated the win. It was massive.
No, quickly.
Yes, it was what I wanted to see. I wanted to see City lift the league because I wanted them to simmer down on Arsenal's trophy and quadruple talks, and that happened for me. That was one of my highlights from the weekend. You didn't ask me. I would take an offense from that. It was interesting. Beautiful. It was fun. City played better, got the goal at the end. It was a local lad, O'Reilly, that got the 2 goals for the brace, and it was just fantastic. That's how you play final. That's how you play.
Going on for Arsenal, what next? Like, going on for Arsenal quickly. They still have the Champions League, the Premier League,
yes,
and the FA Cup.
they need to shift their focus. Now 1 is down, there's 3 to go. They are in pole position to win the Premier League. They can't afford to
bottle it.
And blow up that amount of lead. They are still in the Champions League, one of the favorites because of the way they've played in the competition. And in the FA Cup, they have a relatively good tie in the quarterfinal. So it's 1 down, 3 to go. For Arteta and his boys, they need to go back to the drawing board, fix 1 or 2 things that went wrong yesterday. And it has to be evident to him now that sitting up and soaking up the pressure is not going to work all the time. You have to be able to think out of the box, find creative players that can tick the box and change things for you when the game is going on. You can't rely on your defensive capabilities or your defensive fortress to say, okay, this is going to see us through to the end of the game. Right. You need to find players and find a different system apart from the one that has pushed you to this position at the top of the season.
Right. Come on. What a way to go on the show this wonderful Monday morning. And definitely we'll be back here tomorrow to discuss. But let me just inform you that tomorrow we're going to be talking about world number 2, Yannick Sinner of Italy, and American 5th seed, Jessica Pegula, as they won on Saturday to reach their third round and ATP at the WTA Miami Open.
WTA later today. Adreva and Boko, they are partners in the doubles, and they're going to face themselves in the singles later today. So it's going to be an interesting one to watch as well.
What to look forward to. Also, we're talking about the Madrid derby tomorrow, and definitely Abiola also will join us tomorrow to talk about basketball. And that is how the weekend wrote its story, and how Monday delivered the verdict. We're going to be here again tomorrow to discuss more sport updates right here on the go. I am Paul Abe Toluwanemi. I want to say a big thank you, to the crew, top-notch analysts and top-notch analysis today, from the crew. We're going to see a game tomorrow, same station. Remember, this is Dominion Sport. Make sure you follow, make sure you share, and make sure you like. Have a fantastic weekend. Have a fantastic day, and stay blessed. I also want to move over to the weekend immediately. Stay blessed, and bye for now.